you have to focus on various settings differently. So the messaging you have can be quite general, but it's good to really look at settings that have high transmissions. So for example, you may have, in Rwanda, we have 30 30 districts. And among them, in the past weeks, we had 2 in particular, because they're border districts, that were having spikes in numbers. So in the rest of the country, you may have sporadic cases here and there, but in those districts, then the messaging and the compliance measures are particular to that setting. And I think it's important to be able to have that, right? So I approach each setting differently, in addition to general messages. But there are other measures that help. For example, in Rwanda, if you're not wearing a mask, you actually get fined, because the message has been clear from early on. You have to wear face covering. It's universal, it's uniform, it's everywhere you are in the country.
How much are you supposed to pay in fine, for instance?
I would convert from the local currency $25, although the amount is supposed to carry the weight of the measure. What's important is that it's followed. So we've had, we have different people enforce it, from local authorities to line ministries to community leaders to social influencers. It's been quite a whole of government and whole of society approach that's been helpful. Although those measures are in place, what's happening is that rather than have people think of, oh, if I don't do this, the police is going to fine me. It's more of, oh, so and so was just on the radio explaining to us the importance of wearing masks and of physical distancing and hand washing. So it's a little bit of both measures that are strict, but also being very intentional about awareness and education community-wide.
How do you deal with people who will be wearing the mask but will put it under their chin?
That's we've seen some of that, like in any country, and what's interesting here is the language that we use in our country is it's mouth and nose covering. So that's we've observed that whenever, especially early on, it wasn't applied as well. So whenever you have that, the messaging has insisted on wearing a mask properly. And so we've had an adjustment in our communication strategy to say, wear a mask, it's good. Wearing it well is what's important. So the fine can still be applied if you're wearing it on your chin or on your forehead, wherever you wear it. If you're not covering your mouth and nose, because we know those happen, these measures actually still impact you.
Not everybody will be able to afford the fine, the $25. What do you do with such persons?
So for example, another measure that we've had is curfew. So we are supposed to be at home by 9 p.m. And part of it was just reducing that window of potential infection. Gradually, this curfew has been, extended and extended. For now, it's until 9 p.m. So if, for example, you are still in the street past 9 p.m., right? You are taken to a different place, like a stadium or a different place where you are requested to stay for several hours. And so in a way, it's not just the financial measures, but it's whatever measure is taken, whether it's with the general public. What's important is to carry the weight of why that measure is in place. So if you're not able to pay the $25, there are still other measures to enforce, whether it's the curfew, whether it's the wearing of mask, but it's not having prohibitive fines that will change behavior in the long term. You have to have it along with a very intentional communication and risk communication in particular, and community engagement.